Hello, good afternoon. How are you? Yes, welcome to week 9. Supposed to be, but we're going to be treating week 7 and 8. This is so because of the holidays we had 2 weeks ago and our test. Right, so we can compress what we have for week 8 and week 7. And it's still going to be quality. So don't be bothered about will I be able to understand everything? We will understand by the grace of God. Alright, so we thank God for how things are going. We thank God for the situation in the country, and our prayer is very soon to see each other. I know you've been seeing my face, but I have missed seeing your face because we've not done Zoom class for a long time. Alright, so I don't even think we've ever done before. So, but let's thank God in everything. We need to appreciate God, give thanks to God. Okay, so um, we are moving forward by the grace of God. Alright, this week we are going to be looking at farm records and farm accounts. But before we go into details of the topic, last week we talked about supply, demand, and diminishing returns and other things that are related to it. That's the average products, total products, marginal products, and all of that. And it made us to see AGRIC as more than just a science, to see it as a business. Right. So that's opened our eyes that agriculture is actually a business where you have to plan and then look for, understand the factors that are going on around you so you can make money, you can maximize profits. Yes, we need to make money in the venture so that our efforts will not go to waste. Alright, this the topic we did last, and also the topic we did in junior secondary school on factors of production are going to be our prior knowledge into this. And let me just dwell a little on factors of production. Factors of production, we said they are those elements that we bring together to enable us get our crops produced or our animals or their products. Yes, now, part of those factors of production, we say we have the land, capital, labor, and management. And of all, we said management is the most important. Most important, why? Because it brings other factors together. Without management, then all those factors will just be lying fallow. Land is essential, capital is essential, labor is essential, but management brings them together. And what's management? The coordination of all these factors of production to ensure that the purpose for which you have created the farm is accomplished. You have made the farm so that you can provide quality food. Without management, you cannot accomplish that. You have established the farm so that you can make money. Without proper management, you cannot make money. So those are precursor to this topic. And just this topic is one of the duties of the farm manager, which is record keeping, paying attention to details, paying attention to details. That's why this topic is very essential. We need to know it. Why are we stressing on farm records and farm accounts? It's not just because I want to see you calculate in agri for those of you that don't like mathematics, but you also like mathematics anyway. No, that's not it. The essence is because as farmers we need to pay attention to details. It's so important that we pay attention to details that even the psalmist said, the Lord teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts to wisdom. Psalm 90 verse 12. Psalm 90 verse 12. Teach us to number our days. Why? Why should we learn to number our days? So that we can grow up, so that we can be wise. If we check some versions, it said, so that you can be wise. You know, sometimes you get to some stage in your life where you just have to sit down and then reason. This thing I'm doing, I'm too old for this. And if you fail to reason, society will reason for you. They'll go, don't you know you are older than this? You're not supposed to be doing this. You are a big boy, you're a big girl, or this or that. So we need to pay attention to details even as much as our days. As little, as our days, how old we are. We need to pay attention to it. We get conscious of it. So even as farmers, this paying attention to details is essential. It's essential. It's very, 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 very much essential. Why is it essential? Well, essential so that you can make smart choices or make smart decisions in the future. So that's why it's one of the reasons why it's essential. At some point in your life, you just see that, where am I going to? What do I want to use this my life to do? That's looking at it from the spiritual aspect. Also, as farmers, you have to sit down and look, where is this farm? Where is it going to? But before you can say where is this farm going to, you have to bring out your records to be able to say, oh, this is where we are coming from. What we set out to do, have we been able to achieve? The pen, they say, is smarter than the sharpest brain. Even if you don't forget anything in this life, as long as you don't forget any details in this life, you cannot be everywhere. You cannot be everywhere. You don't forget any details. As a farmer, you don't forget details, but you cannot be everywhere. What if you are not present? What should happen? What records should we rely on? So you have to keep records. Very, very essential. If records were not kept, we would be searching to our search for knowledge will be very difficult in these times. But now we have YouTube where we can see videos of documentations of other people. We have textbooks that can guide us and all of that. So even on the farm, so we need to have this record so that our managers, our workers, people after us, even beyond, maybe when we are dead, when we are old and dead, the farm can still continue to thrive based on the records that has been put down. If you say, no, I don't need record, my brain, no, you do need it. There are some details that you might skip. There are some details that you might just get repressed, not because you've forgotten, but nothing is triggering those memories. That's the reason why you have to pen everything down. That's the reason why you have to pen everything. I can write a book now, and a million people will be reading what I'm having. And those a million people might not have the opportunity of being in the same place to hear me dish it out to them. And at times where they need to remember or they need to revisit the knowledge that has been passed, I might not be available physically to tell them, oh, this is what I said, this is what I said, this is what I said, or this is how I said it. Sometimes it might be the how it is being said. That's the reason why we need to document things, document procedures, document. That's the reason why this topic is essential. So don't take it for granted. Follow the topic and understand it. It's straightforward if you read from the notes, but I just want you to get why it is essential that you pay attention to it. Now, this video is also one of documents. You can always refer to it, even after this class, necessarily when you are having your revisions and all of that. You can always refer to it. Oh, I learned about, and other videos that have been posted. And thank God we have it online, which you can easily go back to and download if you have even misplaced it. All right. So what are the details? That we pay attention to? Number one, you have to pay attention to our stock. STOCK. What do I mean by stock? Stock is your plants or your animals or both. That's what stock is. What are the things that we pay attention to about our stock? We pay attention to their date of birth. Why? As if you are taking care of animals, pay attention to date of birth. Why? So as to know the kind of drugs you give them at each point. Science is so advanced to the extent that we know that at some certain age they get susceptible to some kind of disease. What if you forget the date where they were giving birth? So how do you administer injections or vaccines to them to keep them steady and alive, so that you don't lose your stock? So you have to pay attention to date of birth. You have to pay attention to the day you planted your crops, the day you purchased this, where you purchased it from, how much you bought it. You have to have all those details so that by the time next time you want to buy, you can plan, you can budget ahead for all of that. So you pay attention to stocks, that's our animals. You have to pay attention to their pattern of behavior. And that's the reason why we number our animals. We number them, we give them tags. We give them tattoo, we tattoo their body. We're going to talk more about this when we get to SS3, identification of farm animals. Even plants can be tagged. And we can write a number on a piece of paper and tag each of your plants. especially those that are having orchard, that's fruit trees, crops. They tag their plants so as to pay attention to them. You know how much fruit you are getting from a particular tree. It's very good so that you know, oh, I need to cut this tree down. I need to be able to, you be able to identify. You have to pay attention to their pattern so that you know, oh, this tree, something is wrong with it, so as not to spread to other animals. When you notice changes in the pattern where you do the pattern of behavior of your plants or your animals, you document them so that next time you can, oh, this was what happened, this, okay, this was what happened at this particular day, this is what is happening at this current time. Your animals, for example, there's one animal that I have at the moment, a rabbit, a male rabbit. At some point I just noticed the rabbit was calm, quiet and dull. What's going on with this rabbit? Why did I get to notice that? Because I take notice. The rabbit is not one that is dull, it's one that is asking, oh, what is happening to you? Are you eating? I have to measure, oh, the food I gave you yesterday. But the rabbit can't talk to me, but the duties, the duties I perform, because I take notice of all of that, I have to, that's how I know that something is wrong or something is not wrong with the animal. So we pay attention to their pattern of behavior through persistent observation and then documentation of what is happening. Very, very essential. Huh? So all of that I've said the reason why we need to pay attention to them, to give them drugs, to be able to recognize. You pay attention to even to the little details as to their feces. Is this animal, is it defecating or not? What type of feces is coming? What type of feces should come out? What type of feces is coming out? You have to pay attention to all of that because the type of feces will tell you what is wrong with the animal sometimes. So all these little details that we don't count are very, very important. Important also to the medical, those that are still going to use this knowledge in the medical, that some of it are still going for medicine. You pay attention to details, pay attention to the way your patients react, pay attention to their body system so that you can know the type of drugs you administer to them. If you give them drugs that can contradict the way, or drugs that they are allergic to, you kill the person at the end of the day and you'll be liable. So paying attention to details is very, very important. So apart from stocks, we pay attention to our sales also, so that we can project, oh, this is the amount of money I'm going to make from this is the amount of money I made, this is my profit, this is my loss, and all of that. We also need to pay attention to the days of the week, the months of the year, the years. As the year goes by, we have to pay attention to weather. That's what I'm driving at. Pay attention to weather. What do I mean? That sometimes it will be raining. When it's raining, what does rain come with? Rain comes with cold. Rain comes with a lot of pathogens. If you don't pay attention to it, then you just leave your plants and your animals susceptible to all of these things. And then at the end of the day, you run at a loss. You now be shouting, it is one witch or wizard. No, you did not do your due diligence. And then at the end of the day, you end up being foolish. Because the psalmist told us, teach us how to number. They have to pay attention to as little as number. I am 1 year, I'm 2 years old, I'm 3 years, like that, like that. Like you have to pay attention to it. Very, very important. Then you have to pay attention to what you are using, your inputs on the farm. The changes in their prices, the changes in their quality, the changes in their quantity, where you are getting it from, where you are getting your supplies from, and all of that. You pay attention to that too. You also pay attention to government policy, the rules of engagement in the country. One government can just rise up one day and they just post one thing. So that means you have to pay attention to news. Even as student, you can cultivate the habits from now, paying attention to news. What is happening in the country? I'm not saying pay attention to the number of rising coronavirus cases so that you don't give yourself heart attack or hypertension or any form of heartache. But you pay attention to what is going on. An uninformed person is a deformed person. Deformed because I don't know I don't know does not justify you in the court of law. If you do what is wrong, you get arrested and you pay the price. So you have to know what is going on. That is paying attention to details of what is going on in your surrounding. You don't know that there is curfew and you are outside beyond at 10 p.m. I think it's 10 p.m. at the moment now. 10 p.m. You're outside beyond 10 p.m. and you get arrested. You pay the price. Who asked you not to pay attention to the news? So you see that paying attention is very, very, very essential. And I would require that you note this I'm about to say. A good farmer does not joke with little information. A good farmer, you don't joke with little information. To the littlest like dates, you don't joke with it. You have your sheets with you, your record with you, farm diary with you, and you'll be jotting everything. Especially when your farm is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, you have to jot it. You have to jot it. Your workers might not be as trustworthy as they present. You have to pay attention to it, because before you know it, one chicken here, two chicken here, three chicken here. At the end of the day, you'll be expecting to get a profit of so. You will get another thing. And you'll be wondering, where did this happen? You did not pay attention. You did not. So that's the essence of all of that. So I think I've dealt seriously with the importance of farm records. You can always read that to know more about it. But let's just go to uh, types of records that we keep. Farm diary, that's to record all everything that's happening on the farm. And before I move forward, let me just quickly make a quick distinction. There is farm accounts and there's farm records. Farm accounts are records of money transaction, money you collect or pay. So in a way, farm accounts are farm records. They are records. So farm records are documents that contains everything that is going on the farm, or that contains details of what is going on in your farm. Let's not say everything, because everything has to do with farm diary. So farm records are documents, written documents of activities going on your farm. So records of money you collect or money you pay, all those ones that have to do with money transactions are farm accounts. That's just a clear distinction between those two. Alright, so now let's now look at the types of record. Talked about farm diary. Then we have what is called farm inventory record. That's the list of all assets that you have. The list of all assets that you have. That's farm inventory record. Then sales and purchase record, the list of what you're selling, what you're receiving, who you are selling to, the details of your customers, details of the people you are buying from and those that you are selling to. And sometimes you have to write the amount down there, but we have an account where we also take notes of that. Then we have yield or production record. That is your output, what you are getting from your production. How many maize cob were you able to harvest? You put all those down in your yield record. How many gallons of milk were you able to get from your cattle? You put that down. You record all of that. Why do you need to even record an example? The example I just gave now. Why do you need to record the quantity of milk? So that when there's a drop in production, you'll be able to know that something is wrong somewhere. Maybe your animals are suffering from one kind of disease, or they are reacting to changes in weather. And you'll be able to project, at this particular point in time, there will be a drop in my milk production, so that you know how to balance up the effect. See why paying attention to details and documenting them is very important. Then payroll or labor record, that's how much you're paying your staff, that's those that are working for you, the wages and salaries that you're paying out. Then farm input utilization record, even as little as the type of drug you are administering to your animals, you have to write it down. So that if the animal reacts to the drug in a negative way, you can take notes and never use such drug. Or probably it's going to be because of the species of the animal that you are using, or all of that. So you just have to pay attention. You have to balance everything up to know where the problem is and to avoid it in the future. Alright, so farm accounts. What's farm accounts? Farm accounts, we already said the statement of money that you receive or you pay out for business transactions that are carried out on the farm. So the types of farm accounts, we have sales accounts. That one documents all the money that is coming in, what is being sold, and how much is being received for what is being sold. Farm, that sales account. Purchase accounts, what did you buy? How much did you buy it? Where did you buy it from? Where did you buy it from? The amount and all of that, put it in purchase account. Then farm valuation account. Farm valuation account and farm inventory account are somewhat similar. Farm valuation account goes the extra mile of noting all the assets on the farm and their money worth, the worth of, as in how much they worth at the present. In your farm inventory account, you can also put their money worth there, but it's not essential. Though in the definition in the note we put it there, it is not so much essential. It's just a list of the assets that you have on the farm. But when we now get to farm valuation, because it has to do with the value, the cash, the money worth has to be stated there. Oh, I own or I'm having a tractor. This tractor at this stage is worth so and so. And farm valuation account is always taken at the beginning and at the end of every production cycle. And that's where we have opening valuation and closing valuation. At the end, you have your closing valuation. At the beginning, you have your opening valuation. Opening valuation will tell you, oh, before we started producing, oh, these are all the assets that we have on the farm. Their money worth. Closing valuation will tell you, oh, we have finished producing, we have sold. This is what is left on the farm. And usually your closing valuation at the end of one production cycle is usually the opening valuation at the beginning of another production cycle. But sometimes depreciation and pests usually change the worth of your assets sometimes, especially when that's to do with your store or the prevailing economy in the country. All right. Cash analysis account, that's just to note your income and expenditure. A farm income statement to note what is coming in against what you are spending, so you know how much you have. Balance sheet also tells you your worth, your net worth. What are you worth? And usually done at the end of the year. Then we have profit and loss account, which is one of the one account that we are going to pay attention to. This one, why is it very important? It's very important because you have to know how much you are making so that you don't spend your capital. You don't spend the money that you are going to use to produce at the next production cycle. That's very, very, very important. You see that in your note is the only one that we talked about the importance and we gave examples of how to calculate. It's very, very, very simple to calculate it. What are the things that you note when you are trying to put together a profit and loss account? Number one, you have to note the title. The title has to involve the name of the farm, profit and loss account, and the date that you are doing it. The profit and loss account has two sides. It has the debit side and the credit side. What are the things that we put on the debit side? Anything that takes money out of the farm or the farm business is a debit. Anything that brings in money that credits you, and just like you recharge your phone, anything that credits your account, it's what we put under credit. So examples of things we put under debit: costs, depreciation, bills, and that we need to settle, that we need to pay. Those ones are under debit. But anything that brings in money, sales, you loan your tools or your machines out, and people are paying you for using your tools or your machines, that's also bringing in money. So you loan your animals out. Somebody needs a person needs your stud to mate his or her female animal, and you get money in return for such, or you get animals in it. So the money worth of those animals are credits for you. They are credits for you. So that's the difference. There you have an example there, and by God's we should be dealing with some other examples as we move forward. So let's look at some other terms that we need to also pay attention to, that we need to know. Asset. What's an asset? Asset is anything of value that is owned by the farm or the farmer. There's a difference between the farm and the farmer, and sometimes they can be the same. Alright. A farmer is the person, the farm is the business. And usually when it is still small, the farm and the farmer are like this. So anything the farm owns is what the farmer owns. But when the farm gets bigger, then there's a clear distinction between those two entities. The farmer is the owner, while the farm is the business. Alright, so asset is anything that is owned by the farm or farmer or the farmer. Anything of value owned by the farmer. And we have different types. We have the fixed assets, and those ones that they last long, that we cannot just finish using in one production cycle, like the house, farmhouse, the animal pen, the animal cage, your machines. All those things are fixed assets. You cannot finish using them. And we have current assets. You can finish using those ones, like money, cash. When you spend it to buy something, it is gone. You cannot recover it again. It's something that you bought, that you have feed your animals. All those ones, they are current assets. Though you own them, but after a production cycle, they might not be present anymore. All right, costs. Costs are those things that you spend, your expenses Eh? What you spend is what we refer to as cost. And we have different types of cost. We have fixed costs. Those ones we continue to spend them. Hmm? They do not vary at different level of production. They may be constant or fixed at a particular time. They may be constant. What I mean by constant is year in, year out, you spend that particular amount. Or fixed just once. And variable cost, those ones on a regular basis, and they are not fixed. The amount is not fixed. Today you can buy a bag of feed for 2,500. Tomorrow can be 24 or 27. Hmm? The same thing with seeds too. Their prices are not fixed, depending on the prevalent economy in the world. Then we have liabilities. What's liability? Liability is basic debt. What you owe, not own now. OWE. What you owe is a liability. And we have different types of liability. We have current liability. That is those liabilities, those debts that you require to pay in a short time. Those ones are current or short-term liabilities, and then we have long-term liabilities. Those ones that will take years for you to pay back, or you'll be paying in installments. Such ones include loans that you used to buy your machines, loans that you used to build your farmhouse, and all of that. And then we have medium-term liability. Those ones usually last between 2 to 5 years. Long-term can as long as 10 years to pay back. Then we have net worth. We've talked about that. Net worth is just the total amount, the total money worth of the farm. Total money worth, and how do we get that? All the things that the farm is having, that is the asset, minus what the farm is owing, the liability, will give you the worth, the actual value of the farm at that point in time, and it can change depending on the liability. It's the liability that actually determines the worth of the farm. When the liability is small, the worth of the farm is high. But when the liability is much, the worth of the farm is low. And then I want you to pay attention to those two things: liquidity and solvency. Liquidity and solvency. Liquidity is the ability of the farm to meet short-term obligations, to meet debts that are short-term liabilities. While solvency is the ability of the farm to cover long-term liabilities. They are related, but the time that they deal with is different. Liquidity is short-term, solvency long-term. That's the difference between the two of them. All right, when we advance in economics, I'm sure you would have been able to do some calculations on how to estimate all of this. Appreciation is the worth of something, how much something is worth. And the increase in value, as it's increasing, you say it's appreciating. It's appreciating. Usually, fixed assets usually increase in value, but fixed assets like machineries usually decrease in value because you are using them, and as you are using them, they get worn out. And that's why it is necessary we pay attention to them so that we can always maintain them. When you take record of the last time you serviced your machines, you'll be able to note the next time you'll be able to service. When you take record of what happened to it, you'll be able to know so that you can avoid it from happening at another time. So that's appreciation. Appreciation is talking about the increase in value of your assets, while depreciation is talking about the reduction. Sometimes you cannot help depreciation, like in the case of machineries. Even if you maintain and all of that, they will still depreciate. They have what is called useful lifespan, which is another term that we have to note. Useful lifespan is the period in which they can be of value to you. It can be a machine, it can be any other thing. The useful lifespan is a period of time. It can be in years, it can be in days, it can be in weeks, in which an asset can be of value to you. And then that brings, when depreciation starts creeping in, it gets to a point where it's no longer of value to you. That's as much as when you start using it, you get to a time to be almost useless, and then you have to sell for scrap. Now, the money you will get when you sell for scrap is what we call the salvage value. That's the worth at the point when it is no more useful to you, is what we call salvage value. Okay, I think we've been able to trash out all of this. The rest is just calculations. How do you calculate depreciation? There are different methods of calculating depreciation. We have total depreciation, we have annual depreciation. All of these are pretty straightforward. you can always follow from the e-notes. All right, so thank you very much. I believe you've been able to jot down a lot of things. If you check your data and you just realize you have just one page, please watch this video and make sure that you jot a lot of things, because I've actually dished out a lot of knowledge. And please be conscious of the vocabularies that are particular to this class. When you explain, use vocabularies like input, yield, cost, debit, credit, sales, wages, salaries, rent, lifespan, salvage value, appreciation, revenue, income, expenses, inventory, stock, valuation, solvency, liquidity. Yeah, you need to know. There are many more. I just try to mention a few. You need to know how to apply all these vocabularies where they are applied. Try to use them in your conversation and all of that. That's how you get to know things. They say practice makes perfect. All right, so let's not forget paying attention to the details is very essential, because a good farmer does not joke with little information. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the lessons. If you have any questions, post them and we'll attend to them. All right. So thank you very much. God bless you.